Check the stream real quick. Check the stream real quick. Looks good, man. Hey, Shalom. This is GMS Holland coming back to you through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Before we start it off, we want to give all praises, glory, and the highest honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rakakadosh. Double honors to the other apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect out there that's spreading this word of sincerity and the truth all over the four corners of the earth. Shalom. Shalom. So yeah, man, as you see, an in-class lesson. Okay, going into when E, which we know who we talking about if we say E. Okay, when E came into power. Okay, the twin brother of Jacob, when he came into power. Okay, we're gonna touch on a little thing concerning 2nd Ezra chapter 11, which that's a chapter that you don't break down, you don't go into that breakdown, but the last part of 2nd Ezra chapter 11 is something that is being described and is being linked to Daniel chapter 7. Okay, so last Saturday we wanted to go into that a little bit, but Spirit led us somewhere else. So Yahweh, we can go into it today and make it edifying unto the brotherhood, man. So you can start with the 2nd Ezra chapter 11, verse 38. Oh, wait, let's see. Yeah, no, let's just start at verse 38. I was reading 37, but that goes into the breakdown. And let me just read why we don't teach 2nd Ezra chapter 11. Because in chapter 12, it speaks about why we don't teach it openly like that. Let me see. Yeah, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 12, verse 35. This is the dream that thou sawest, and these are the interpretations. Thou only hast been meet to know this secret of the highest. Therefore, write all these things that thou hast seen in a book, and hide them, and teach them to the wise of the people, whose hearts thou knowest may comprehend and keep these secrets. You see, that's why we don't do full breakdowns on Daniel or it's like on 2nd Ezra 11, but also Daniel 11. You see, we go over it. We might grab a precept here and there, but we don't do a full breakdown on it. And it might be that you see some brothers do a full breakdown on it, but you know the order from the apostle Tahar was not to do that, so we ain't gonna do that. We're just gonna read the last part of it, which doesn't go in the full dream and the breakdown thereof. It just speaks about the last beast of Daniel chapter 7, which we're also going to grab. Okay, so start off with the 2nd Ezra 11.
This is 2nd Ezra 11, verse 38. Hear thou, I will talk with thee, and the highest shall say unto thee, art not thou it that remainest of the four beasts?
You see, so after the whole dream and interpretation, the Most High refers to him that remaineth of the four beasts. So with this information, of course, you're gonna understand who about whom the breakdown of 2nd Ezra 11 is talking about. Okay, because who remaineth of the four beasts? Okay, that's like the same thing as Daniel chapter 2, the last leg of the Roman Empire. That's the kingdom that we are living in right now. Now to go back on Daniel chapter 12, wherein it says keep it a secret. It does say
You mean 2nd Ezra chapter 12?
What did I say?
Daniel.
Oh, it's like 2nd Ezra chapter 12, verse 38, it says, and teach them to the wise of the people whose hearts thou knowest may comprehend and keep these secrets. So we do pass it on. So I might sit with the brother quarters up and we might go over 2nd Ezra 11, or we might go over Daniel's 11, or we might have a, in-class study, where we go over these chapters with the camp. Okay. Then I might go over this breakdown with the camp leader of GMS Suriname or GMS Guyana or GMS Germany. I might go over this breakdown with them. That's how you keep this between closed doors, so to speak. So the last of the four beasts. So read that again. 2nd Ezra.
This is 2nd Ezra.
And I will grab Daniel chapter 7.
2nd Ezra 11, verse 39. Art not thou it that remainest of the four beasts, whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their time might come through them?
Yeah, you see, so the end of the time, might come through them. So Esau has been established to reign and to have his kingdom before the kingdom to come, before the kingdom of Yasha. Okay, so it speaks about him that remaineth of the four beasts. So this is Daniel chapter 7, verse 1. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea, and four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. Now, sometimes you go over a parable, sometimes you go over a scripture, and in the same chapter, it breaks down itself. Okay? It breaks down itself. So it says, and four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. So when we jump to verse 7, it says, after this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Okay, so it goes up to four beasts, and they are being broken down and they are being described. But what does it go into verse 7 is that it's devouring and conquering the other beasts, okay, which were rulerships. Okay, so then it says, let's see. Then it says, Daniel chapter 7, verse 4. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. Okay, so this was the transition from the Assyrian Empire to the Babylonian Empire. Verse 5. And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh. Can you grab Daniel 8 and 3? Daniel chapter 8, verse 3. Come.
This is Daniel 8, verse 3. Then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram which had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last.
Okay, so there's a similarity in Daniel 7 and 5 and Daniel 8 and 3, because here it speaks about two horns that are high on top of the ram, but the one was higher than the other, and the other came up last. So here it speaks about And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side. So one side was higher than the other side of the bear. And here it speaks about two horns. One horn was greater than the other. Okay, now, like I just said, sometimes in a certain chapter it breaks down itself. Okay, once there came a Swedish guy to the camp, and he was talking about, give me a scripture wherein it proves biblical truth. Remember that guy with the long hair? He was from Sweden. He said, give me a scripture that shows me biblical truth, facts of prophecy. The book of Daniel the book of Daniel and the breakdown thereof is biblical proof in itself, because Daniel was there during the Babylonian Empire and he's prophesying about the kingdoms to come. And secular history shows us that he was right. You see? Because you did have the Babylonian Empire taking down the Medo-Persian Empire, the Medo-Persian Empire taking down the Babylonian Empire, the Greek Empire taking down the Medo-Persian Empire. Okay? Then the Roman Empire taking down the Greek Empire. That's secular history. And that is what Daniel saw in the visions while he was yet in the Babylonian Empire. You see? He saw these things already. And, of course, the scriptures goes into beasts. But in the same chapter, it also explains to you who the beast is referring to. So if we grab... read Daniel 8 and 3 again.
This is Daniel 8, verse 3. Then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram which had two horns, and the two horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last.
Yeah, so this is referring to the Medo-Persian Empire, okay, which is a joint empire, the Medes and the Persians. So just like with the bear had one side that was higher. So basically one shoulder was higher than the other, which the higher one represents the Persians. The lower one represents the Medes. Who are the Medes? The Medes are the Japhetic people. Okay? The Persians are Elam. So Elam and Japhet had a joint rulership. Okay? Elam and Japhet had a joint rulership.
I have this, that the Persians, their name was changed into Iran. This is on Wikipedia. In the Western world, Persia, or one of its cognates, was historically the common name used for Iran. On the Nowruz of 1935, Reza Shah officially asked foreign delegates to use the Persian term Iran, meaning the land of Aryans in Persian.
Yeah, so Iran, so the Persians changed to Iran, and Iran is next to Iraq. So these people, are intertwined. You see, just like how Amalek, you have Amalek in Israel and you have Amalek in Turkey. You see, they're both the same people, Amalekites. Okay, so Persia, modern day Persia is Iran. Okay, so it says the two horns were high, but one was higher than the other. So the one that was higher than the other was the Persian side of the Medo-Persian Empire, because the Persians were way stronger than the Japhetic people, than the Medes. You see? And the higher came up last, because first it was the Japhetic people that conquered, and then the Persians joined onto the Medes, but the Persians were way stronger than the Medes. You see? That's why it was bigger. The horn was bigger. Now, you might say, like, when people pull up without understanding of the scriptures, what are they gonna say? They're gonna be like, huh? It's literally speaking about a ram with two horns. One is greater than the other. What makes you say that it's talking about the Medo-Persian Empire? Well, if you jump to verse 20, okay, jump to verse 20.
This is Daniel 8, verse 20. The ram which thou sawest, having two horns, are the kings of Media, and Persia.
You see? So it breaks down itself, because Daniel has received the dream, and the interpretation thereof. Okay, so that sometimes that's just written in the same chapter. So we are not, fantasizing about what the ram could mean. No, it literally says it in the same chapter. The ram is the king of Media and Persia. The one horn is Persia, and the other horn is Media. So, and what represents the horn? What does the horn often represent in the scriptures? Power. Okay, strength, might of a kingdom, of a person. Okay, his horn was strong. Okay, so going back to Daniel chapter 7, verse 5 again. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it, which the 3 ribs represents the fall of Lydia, Egypt, and Babylon. That's when the Medo-Persian came into power after these 3 battles. So the 3 ribs represent the devouring of those kingdoms, of those countries. And they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh. Verse 6, after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. Give me Daniel chapter 8, verse 8. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given unto it. Now this is the beginning of the kingdom of Esau. Okay, the rulership of Esau. That's why when E came into power, that's what the lesson is all about. When E came into power, okay, this is what 2nd Ezra 11 is talking about. The one that remaineth of the 4 beasts. That's Esau. That's Esau's rulership. That's why today we live in a modern day Roman Empire. Okay, we live in a modern day Roman Empire, revived Roman Empire. 1957, you had the what's it called again? The Roman Treaty here in Europe. The Roman Treaty set up by the European nations. Okay, why is it called the Roman Treaty? Because we are still in a Roman Empire, but we are the modern day Roman Empire, the revived Roman Empire. Okay, Daniel 8 and 8.
This is Daniel 8, verse 8.
So what I just read was the leopard. Okay, the leopard represents the Greek Empire. It says, after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. So the 4 beasts, or the third beast is a leopard, which is the Greek Empire. The 4 heads were the heads of the generals that came instead of Alexander the Greek, okay, which were Lysimachus, Cassander, Ptolemy, and Seleucid, okay. So in Daniel chapter 8, verse 8, it also speaks about the Greek Empire coming into power, which is prophecy spoken by Daniel during the Babylonian Empire. He already prophesied that the Greek Empire was going to come into power. He already prophesied that Esau at one point was going to come into power, which is also prophecy written in the book of Genesis. Okay? So read Daniel 8 and 8.
This is Daniel 8, verse 8. Therefore the he-goat waxed very strong, very great. And when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came up 4 notable ones towards the 4 winds of heaven.
So again, here it speaks about one horn became 4 horns, okay, of a he-goat. But then in Daniel 7, it speaks about the leopard with 4 that got 4 heads. Here it's a he-goat of which the horn broke, and 4 came instead. You see that? So it says Daniel 8 and what did I give you? 8 and 8.
Yeah, 8.
Daniel chapter 8, verse 8. That is the spiritual aspect of the vision. Okay. But even that, Daniel 8 and 8, is being broken down also, man. Jump to verse 21.
This is Daniel 8, verse 21. And the rough goat is the king of Grecia, and the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king.
You see that? Who was the first king of the Greek Empire is Alexander the Greek. They call him Alexander the Great, but we don't call him great. We just call him a Greek because that's what he was. So the first horn is the first king. Go on.
Verse 22. Now that being broken, whereas four stood up for it, four kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power.
Yeah, not in his power, and that's secular history also, man. So Daniel received a vision of Esau coming into power, but after the great strength of the Greek Empire, uh, until Alexander the Greek died, it got split up into four. Like I just said, Lysimachus, Cassander, Seleucid, and Ptolemy. Now it started off with five because you had Antigonus. Antigonus, he took the northern region of the Greek Empire for himself. But then you had Ptolemy, Cassander, Lysimachus, and also Seleucid joining forces, taking down Antigonus, and then Seleucid took the kingdom of Antigonus, and he gave certain parts. He gave two parts unto Lysimachus and Cassander, and they became tributaries unto the northern kingdom of the Greek Empire, which was the Empire of Seleucid. Can you look up the picture maybe? Oh wait, let me grab it on this other phone. Which it was here. Just to show you how the Empire of Esau got expanded like that, okay? So it says here, divided Greek Empire. And it was divided under the diadochi, which diadochi is a Greek term of successors. So they were the successors of Alexander the Greek. Let me look for a good picture. And you can grab First Maccabees and start with verse 8.
I was also looking for a picture, but this is First Maccabees 1, verse 8. First Maccabees 1, verse 8. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years.
Slakia, start at verse 5. As a matter of fact, just start at verse 1.
Go. This is First Maccabees 1, verse 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece, and made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the end of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries, and nations, and kings, who came tributaries unto him.
Yeah, so this is Alexander the Greek, the first king of the Grecians, which is the he-goat and which is also the leopard. Okay, he conquered and he devoured a lot of land. That's why in Daniel chapter 8, it speaks about how the he-goat moved. It moved with Charler. Can you read this? Verse 6.
This is Daniel 8, verse 6. And he came to the horn that had two horns, So like yeah. And he came to the ram that had two horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power. And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote the ram, and brake his two horns, and there was no power in the ram to stand before him, but he cast him down to the ground, and stamped upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand.
Yeah, man. So when you look up the word choler, it says from Old French colère, it says bile, anger. From Latin cholera, diarrhea, it says, which in late Latin acquired the sense of bile or anger. Okay, so he came with the fury. Okay, the he goat when he saw the Medo-Persian Empire, he came with fury. He came with the destructive military force towards the Medo-Persian Empire. So what you read in First Maccabees chapter 1 is also that fury wherewith they came towards the empire that then was. Okay, go on.
Daniel 8 or Maccabees?
Uh, Maccabees.
Sorry.
Was Daniel 8 finished?
This is Daniel 8 verse 8. We already read that.
Yeah.
So this is First Maccabees 1 verse 5. And after these things, he fell sick, and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdoms among them, which he was while he was yet alive.
That's right. So so that is the horn that was broken, man. You see, the he goat, the first horn was broken, and then four came instead. So in Maccabees, it speaks about how Alexander the Greek, he became sick, okay, and then things happened afterwards. Now I found a picture. Let me see. I found a picture, but this was prior to when it changed. Okay. Wait, why you see it in? You see it in as a mirror. Okay. You see, you have the green, which is the Ptolemaic Empire. Then you have orange, which is Seleucid. Then you, then you have the purple, which is Antigonus, which I spoke about that was the fifth. And then you have the light blue, which is Lysimachus, and the light orange, which is Cassander, which, like I said, Cassander and Lysimachus, they got their land, they kept their land, but Seleucid took over the part of Antigonus, or Antigonus, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so those then became the four successors that the scriptures is talking about, the four heads, because Antigonus was taken out. He was taken down. Okay, go on in First Maccabees.
That's First Maccabees 1 verse 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth.
Evils were multiplied in the earth, which that's another prophecy that came to pass, which is the thing that already dates back to the time of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. Okay, Isaac gave the blessing to his sons, which was Jacob and Esau. And there was a certain blessing that Esau received which came to pass when he came into rulership. Okay? So, like Daniel chapter 8 said, they did not stand in the same power as when the he goat had one horn. When he had one emperor, they divided. And guess what? Yahushua spoke about it, man. Let me grab that real quick. Then in Matthew, Yahushua spoke about it.
You also have Alexander. He's often depicted
with the leopard on his head.
Yeah, leopard on his head, the helmet of a leopard.
Yeah.
I can show that. These are the statues that they made of him. Or if you look
also paintings.
Yeah, paintings or in books.
That's right. So this is Matthew chapter 12, verse 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. So that's the same thing that happened with the Greek Empire, man. Okay, there came war, and that's what Daniel chapter 11 is going into, the war between the northern and the southern kingdom of the Greek Empire, which that became their end. Okay, that's why the Greek Empire didn't stand. The Roman Empire took down the Greek Empire, and then the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire came in its stead. Okay, but it wasn't a transition in nation. Okay, it was just another group of Edomites that came into power, man. You see, it's the same as the Britons that made war with America, which was the War of Independence, and then the Americans came into power, man. They took their own land. They became independent from Britain. You see? So that's the same thing that happened with the Greek and the Roman Empire, because they have the same customs. If you look at the gods that they worship, okay, you got Mars. In the Roman Empire, they worship Mars, which is the god of war. And then in the Greek Empire, they call him Ares. Okay? And so, and in the same way, you have all these similarities because it's basically the same belief, but just different names. But it's the same people also. So, yeah, the Greek Empire coming into power, which is Esau. The Roman Empire took it down and took it over. Then you had the prophecy of Daniel chapter 20 coming to pass. And after the prophecy of Daniel chapter 20 coming to pass, the Roman Empire was revived. Okay, which Revelation, I believe chapter 18 speaks about that. Okay, so First Maccabees is talking about the Greek Empire, and it's talking about that when Esau came into power, evils multiplied upon the earth. So how much more today, man? How much more evils are multiplied up till this day? You see? Esau's still in rulership. Esau's still in power. You see? So let me go back to Daniel. I dropped it. Okay. And give me Genesis. Let's go to the prophecy that I just referred to. Genesis chapter start at Genesis chapter 27 verse 37.
This is Genesis 27 verse 37. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son?
Yeah, so what did Jacob receive? Jacob received the ultimate blessing of his father, Isaac. He received the ultimate blessing. Wine, corn, greatness, land. Okay, he would multiply, which those are the blessings that we would get if we obey the Heavenly Father, man. Because when you read Deuteronomy chapter 28, you immediately think about the curses, but really the first 14 verses is talking about the blessings, man. Okay, this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that Yahweh thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Ultimate blessing, the ultimate blessing that we received from the Most High through our father Isaac would be established. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thine kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed shall be thy basket in thy store. Blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out. Yahweh shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way, and flee before thee 7 ways. Yahweh shall command the blessing upon thee in thy storehouses, and in all that thou settest thine hand unto. And he shall bless thee in the land which Yahweh thy power giveth thee. And Yahweh shall establish thee an holy people unto himself, as he had sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of Yahweh thy power, and walk in his ways. And all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of Yahweh, and they shall be afraid of thee. You see that? Now that is going to come to pass when we keep the commandments, when thou obeys the commandments. Now, guess what? What is that? Jeremiah chapter 32?
31 and 31.
Grab that.
This is Jeremiah 31, verse 31. Behold, the days come, said the Most High, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, said the Most High. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, said the Most High. I will put my law in their inward parts, and write it in their hearts, and will be their power, and they shall be my people. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, said the Most High. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more.
Yeah, exactly. So the Most High is going to put these laws in our inward part. Okay? How did the Most High make the covenant with us in Egypt or in the wilderness with Moses? He wrote it down on tablets. But the new covenant is going to be written in our hearts, in our mind. We're not going to know how to do wicked. Okay? All the commandments is going to be kept automatically. It's going to be normal as blinking. Okay? It's going to be normal. You don't have to think about it. Okay?
I got a quick precept on that.
Yeah.
This is Isaiah 60, verse 21. Thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified.
You see that? So our people are going to be all righteous. So how is it possible for us not to receive the blessings, man? It's not possible. We will inherit all those blessings that Isaac gave unto Jacob, because in the kingdom we will keep all the commandments, and it's going to come naturally. Now we broke the kingdom, so we received the curses instead of the blessings. But in the kingdom we will receive the blessings. And guess what? Deuteronomy chapter 30 verse 7 says, you want to have a battle? Who has it first?
I already have it.
I see you. Okay, grab it. That you don't have it.
Yeah, Deuteronomy 30, verse 7. And the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee.
You see that? So in the kingdom, when we receive those blessings, the curses is going to come upon our enemies. Okay? That's why in Luke it speaks about that first Lazarus was afflicted, but now he is comforted. and the rich man is gonna be in torments because they have their consolation right now.
Okay.
But in the kingdom, we will have the blessings, man.
This is Luke 16, verse 25. But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime received thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented.
You see that? So it's gonna be changed, man. Esau is gonna be in a bad state, and Jacob is gonna be in a good state. Okay? I remember my history teacher back in the days, he always said, man, that the world is upside down because it ain't supposed to be like this. He said the so-called black people should be on top. Then after that you have Chinese, Africans, and stuff like that. Well, basically he said Africans and black people is the same. So he said black people should be on top. Then Arabs and Chinese, Japanese, and then at the bottom should be the so-called white people. Now, I still remember that up to this day. If I ever see this man, I'm going to tell him what he based that theory upon, because that's all biblical, man. That's in the scriptures. That's right there in the scriptures, because it says, Deuteronomy chapter 28 says what? Let me see if I can grab it instantly. It says,
what are you looking for?
The head and the tail.
Oh, this is Deuteronomy 28, verse 44. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
So that is because of the curses we became the tail, and he became the head. But he is supposed to be the tail, and we're supposed to be the head. You see, so my history teacher told me that. In other words, before I was in the truth, how old was I? 13, 14 years old. You see, he told me this before I was in the truth. So that was already heavy that he said that, because that's really the way that it's supposed to be. Okay, so we gonna
have this turning of things upside down. You want it?
Yeah, you can read it, break it down. I don't know why you put it.
Yeah, because you said the teacher, he feels in the spirit that everything is turned upside down.
Oh, yeah.
This is Isaiah 29, verse 16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? Yeah, man. So Esau is the one that's putting everything upside down. Of course, the Most High uses him as a tool to do these things. But the thing that teacher had in his spirit is right, because we are supposed to be the head, and these people that are base men, they are supposed to be the tail.
That's right.
So they turn everything upside down.
That's right, man. So we would receive the blessings if we would keep the commandments. In the kingdom, we're going to keep all the commandments. So the blessings that came upon us from our forefather Isaac, they're going to be 100% upon us when the kingdom is here, man. When Esau is down, because what does the scripture say? Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. So read on in Genesis.
It's Genesis 27, verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou hast have dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
You see that? So during the Greek Empire, Esau came in rulership. Esau got the dominion. And guess what? It says thou shalt live by the sword. Because how did he get dominion? By rape, robbing, and murdering across the whole earth, man. He moved with choler. He moved with anger. Because all these years, throughout all these generations, he was being looked upon as the basest of the earth. He was being looked upon as a beast. He who lives in the caves. Even up till this day, they carry that title. Caucasian, which means cave dweller, mountain dweller. You see?
I have that also.
Okay, he's that vile person. He's that he's that race that you would hiss at to get away from your animals, from your cattle, because he would have sex with them. And he still does it. So he still has these animalistic traits upon him. You see? This cave beast mentality, man. Walking bare feet through the city. Okay? Nude beaches and stuff like that. Well, what are you doing, man? From the beginning, we wore clothes. Even from Adam and Eve, we was wearing clothes. When it says Adam and Eve were naked, it's not even talking about that they was not wearing any clothes. Okay? They were naive. They was wearing clothes already. You see? But guess what? Esau, he stopped wearing clothes because he's that serpent. The curse of the serpent was that he would go on his belly and he would be brought very low. That is the same curse that came upon Esau, because the mark of Cain, which was leprosy, also came back on Esau. Which the serpent, Cain, and Esau are one and the same person, but in the reincarnation. Okay? So he's that Neanderthal. He's that cave beast, which we can still see that today. But guess what? The Most High sets, what does it say? The Most High, Daniel chapter 4, verse 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basest of man. So the Most High decided, okay, the time of Esau is at hand. Okay? And with this kingdom, I will end it all. Okay, that's why 2 Ezra 6 and 9 says the hand of man is betwixt the time, which we're gonna go into also. Give me your scripture.
It says Job 30 verse 1. But now that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock.
Yeah, so it has come to a point that they that are younger than I, are oppressing us, man, which is Esau. Esau has come into rulership, and he is oppressing us, man. A nation that I would not even put together in the same room or space with my dogs, man. And why is that? Because he would do things with them, man. Go on.
And if I may add, if you go into that word younger, it's tazayar, which is insignificant.
Yeah.
He made himself insignificant because he sold his birthright. Actually, he was the older one, but he now became the younger because he despised his birthright and he sold it to Jacob.
That's right.
So jumping to verse 5.
Because you are really insignificant if you don't see the value of the blessings and your birthright, man. You are without honor, you see? And what was Jacob? Jacob was the opposite of that. Jacob desired to have the birthright. Jacob desired to please his father. Jacob desired to be, called a great son of Isaac. But Esau, he was like, man, as long as I have food, I'm good, man. I just want to hunt. I just want to eat. You see? That's why the scripture in Hebrew says, if there is such a vain person, what does it say?
Yeah, vain or foul.
A vile person that
sold his of meat, sold his birthright.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. That's why that shows you that it's like it's a disgrace what Esau did, man. Let me see where it's at. Or is that Romans?
Let me see.
It's Hebrews, right? I thought maybe it's Romans. Maybe it's Romans chapter 9.
Hebrews 11 and 9.
Yeah, read it.
It might be that. Let me see.
I'm checking Romans 9 real quick. Sometimes it's been a while that you go over precepts, certain precepts, and then you be like, huh? Was it? No, it must be Hebrews, but I can't find it one. You know, with the quickness.
Let me look it up real quick.
It's supposed to be red.
Birth.
Yeah, I have it. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16.
Yeah.
Lest there be any fornicator or profane person. You know what it means to be profane? It means that you are outside of the temple. You have nothing to do with righteousness or things that are according to the Most High. You ain't got nothing to do with that, man. Esau is the ultimate profane person. That's why he turned everything upside down. What the Most High calls righteous, he calls wicked. What the Most High calls wicked, he calls righteous. That's profane, man. You are the complete opposite of the temple, man. You are the complete opposite of the righteousness of the Most High. As Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected because it didn't come for him. He didn't have his birthright no more. And through the Spirit, Jacob received the blessings, which we are the sons of Jacob. For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. You see that? He wanted things to go different. He wanted to have the blessings. He was pleased. He said, please, Father, hast thou but one blessing? That's how he came. And that's when Isaac was like, okay, you know what? The sword is going to be a blessing. You're going to have to serve your brother. But at one point, the yoke is going to be broken off from thy neck. Which that's what this whole lesson is about. When Esau came into power. When he received the dominion. When he got the dominion. Okay? Evils multiplied upon the earth. He went forth to conquer left and right. Okay? So when we are reading Daniel right now, it's going into the time when he got the rulership, when he got the power. So let me go back to Daniel chapter 7. Okay, verse 7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake it in pieces, which the iron teeth represent a strong military might, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Okay, which this is the Roman Empire. Now you had the old Roman Empire, which was the pagan Roman Empire that was established with 10 lesser nations. You had the Ostrogoths, the Visigoths, the Heruli, Suevi, what else? You can look it up for yourself, man. The 10 horns, type in GMS poster, the red dragon, the 10 horns, because this links up with the 10 horns that the dragon has, okay? But then they are the modern day 10 horns. So the modern day 10 horns of the Roman Empire is what you call the European Union today, okay? So this beast was diverse from the other, and it took all the region that these previous beasts used to have. It took all of it. You see? I considered the 10 horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, which that little horn is America, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. Okay, which the three horns that were plucked up, which were strong nations that had a part in this revived Roman Empire. Okay, which was Spain, France, and Britain. So the 3 horns that were plucked up by that little horn that happened during the French-American War, the Spanish-American War, and the War of Independence, which the War of Independence was war between America and Britain. Okay, so America was raised up. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and the mouth speaking great things. Okay, which is that greatness that Esau in America professes to have. Okay, that politics. Okay, so that's how the kingdoms were set up, from Assyrian to Babylon, from Babylon to Medo-Persian, from Medo-Persian to Greek, from Greek to Roman, and then in between that, you had Revelation chapter 20 happening.
Which you also have here the fourth beast with the iron and stuff. You can also read that. It also goes into the fourth beast. It's the same, but
Yeah, it's breaking it down, right?
yeah, that there's gonna be a transition.
Yeah.
So we can read that now or later. I don't know. From 19 until the
Let me
end.
see. Yeah, from 19 on down. Yeah, you can read that.
This is Daniel 7, verse 19. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, break in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows, I beheld, and the saints, and the same, let me read again. This is Daniel 7, verse 21. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them, until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom.
Yeah, so there was a time wherein Jake took the rulership, man, of the Roman Empire. You see, that time came because what was it? 182 AD. You had Pesinius Niger, then you had Septimius Severus, then you had Caracalla, you had Jake coming into power in the Roman Empire. So what happened was, from pagan Rome, it transitioned into Holy Rome, which that Holy Rome wasn't holy, okay, because it took a lot of paganism and created Holy Rome. They started to still kept celebrating a Bacchanal, not modern day we call it Bacchanal, but it goes back to Bacchus. You know, they still kept feasts like Janus, which are all Roman feasts that they still kept. You see, and that is the same thing nowadays. All these celebrations, Easter, Christmas, you know, all these things go back to paganism. Okay, go on.
Daniel 7, verse 23. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, and break it in pieces.
You see, so Daniel chapter 7 goes hand in hand with what 2nd Ezra chapter 11 says in the end. How that this fourth beast was gonna go out there and devour left and right, man. Take peace away from the earth, which that's the blessing that Esau had gotten. Go on.
Verse 24. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings.
Yeah, the Spaniards, the Franks, and the Britons. And verse 23 shows you that it's all about kingdoms. It said, thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom. Yeah. You see? So that shows you that these beasts is just referring to kingdoms, man. Esau, even Esau shows you that in his Christianity. Go on.
Verse 28.
Oh, that was it. So let's go to Revelation 20.
This is Revelation 20, verse 3.
Yeah, verse 3. Go straight to the point.
And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loose a little season.
Yeah. Break it down.
So, like the brother was going into, you had the pagan Roman Empire, and that got taken over by the so-called Holy Roman Empire, which were the Israelites, and they ruled 1,000 years until the mid 1400s. You know, so that's the 1,000 years. The 1,000 years is from the mid 1400s. It started with let's see, 400 or 395 AD.
What?
The
Holy Roman Empire? Yeah, that's the time that it was established, 325 AD.
Yeah, 325 AD, and it lasted until the mid 1400s. So that's the 1,000 years that it's speaking about.
Yeah.
So the Edomites, which deceived the whole world, they were set in check. They were pushed back. So the scripture says, after these 1,000 years, then he's going to be loosed a little season, and we're living in that little season right now. You see?
Exactly. Yeah, man, that's right. So that's when Jake took over. But then during the Renaissance, Esau took his kingdom back, which is the revived Roman Empire. Okay, which it goes into that the head was bruised, but it came back. What is that again? Revelation.
It's 17.
Yeah, I'm looking for the part where I don't know if that's in 17.
Look up real quick.
Can you go back? Oh, can you go back to Second Ezra? Then I'll look for that part where it was bruised.
This is Second Ezra 11, verse 38 again. Hear thou, I will talk with thee, and the highest shall say unto thee, art not thou it that remainest of the four beasts, whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times might come through them? And the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression, and so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit.
You see that? So Esau has done all these things by the sword and by deceit and by great wicked oppression. That was his blessing, which that blessing is basically a curse, because the way that he ruled this world is by wicked oppression, man. Deceit. Okay, that's why when he came into power, guess what? He deceived the world. The first thing he did when he came out of that little season, when he came out of the bottomless pit, being chained inside of the bottomless pit, which the bottomless pit is Europe, he started deceiving immediately, man. So Revelation 20 verse 3 says, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, because that's how he ruled. He ruled by wicked oppression and deceit. Revelation is linked with Daniel. Daniel is linked with Ezra. You see? Ezra is linked with Genesis. It's all prophecy and it's all linked together. Okay, that he should deceive the nations no more. Now, what happened when he came out of this these chains? The first thing he did was to deceive. Okay, you had the Renaissance, which means the rebirth of what? Of Esau's empire, wherein he took up the images and he painted them in his likeness, because he was set up to do that. Can you grab that in Maccabees? This is Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 14. It says, Thou art that, thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of the Most High. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. So Esau has been established from the beginning to deceive. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth. So Esau is the nation that has to cover up the truth. He constantly does that. So the first thing he did when he came out of bondage, when he came up in power again, he started covering all the images that were concerning Jake being in power, Jake being in rulership. He had to do as if he was always in power, man. From the Greek Empire up to the modern day Roman Empire, he had to act as if he was all up there. Meanwhile, he was pushed into the Caucasus Mountains. The only thing that was being dealt with was the females. Okay, slave markets where the Edomite females were sold unto the Ishmaelites. Okay, by the Moors, which used to be Israelites. Israelites went to Moors, and nowadays you have people that are Israelites that call themselves Berbers, which live in the northern regions of Morocco, Mauritania. Okay, these places, they call themselves Amazigh, which that's the general term of these type of people. But you got the Susi and you got the Rifis, okay, which are tribes of the Amazigh people, which descend from Moorish people, which the Moors are Israelites, okay, that conquered Spain. 711 AD, the Moors went into Spain and started conquering the western part of Europe, set up their settlements in Spain, and a lot of these Moors came up into England, which then was called known as Britain or Britannica, which got divided by tribes also, the Saxons, the Anglos, the Celts, the Jutes. Okay, and a lot of these Moorish people went to conquer, but then they converted into Christianity that was spread by the Holy Roman Empire, which were Jake also. And a lot of Moors were hired part of Europe, which is Russia, and they had to fight battles there. Okay, they had to fight battles there. That's why you hear great battles, between the Byzantine Empire and the Ottoman Empire, which was basically Jake fighting against Turks, Jake fighting against Elam. Okay, and that's why you still have the dark images in Russia of Jake, because Jake was right there. You see?
Also, if I may say something about what you were talking about, that we only dealt with their women. But as I believe, we also came here, we came, for example, to Holland to take children as slaves, to groom them to be our slaves in that era that the Moors were ruling. So that's why now, the 5th of December, you have this Saint Nicholas, that had Zwarte Piet, Black Pete, They switched it up. They put themselves on high and us as the slaves, but we were the one that were coming here and taking their children to become our servants, So they mock us with that feast day, the Sinterklaas that's coming up the 5th of December.
Exactly. Because what is the consequence of a child, during that unholy day? What is the consequence of a child misbehaving and disobeying his parents throughout the year? It says that he will be kidnapped and will be put in a bag and will be brought to Spain.
Yeah.
Black Pete is gonna take the child, put him in the bag, bring him to Spain and whip his ass, because he has this whip.
Yeah.
He has this whip. He whip your ass, man. That's the slave master right there, man. That's where it's like the Moors. And if you go and we would come by boat. The Israelites or the Moors in Spain, they would travel by boat, come to Holland, come to England, come to France, Belgium, and they would take slaves, and they would travel by boat. So if you go in an old Dutch dictionary and you look up the word nigger, it says water devil, a devil that comes from the waters, because we used to come by boat. Now, how does this Saint Nicholas celebration uh, come to pass, or how is it established? It says Saint Nicholas travels with his black peace, with his black servants, on a boat, and he comes into Holland. That's how the whole celebration starts. He comes on a boat and he comes into Holland, and all the black beats come and they grab the children that were disobedient and stuff like that. But the children that were good get presents and they get candy and whatever bullshit. Okay, so yeah, man, exactly. So when Esau came into power, the first thing he did was deceive, because that's what he had to do. Go on.
This is First Maccabees 3, verse 48. And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
Which that's what we call iconoclasm. Iconoclasm is the destruction of images, the destruction of the images of Jake that were all across the world. Now, when we go into those images in the Russian parts of Europe, you still see those images out there, man. Because Esau couldn't put his hands on that. But he whitewashed the whole history, man. He whitewashed the history from 180 AD up till the 1400s, man. That's why when you look up Renaissance, when you look up ancient art, the space between the 200 AD up till 1300 AD, you don't find nothing about it. So we know Renaissance means rebirth, and it stands for the rebirth of the Roman Empire. Esau coming back into power. But you know what Esau says? Esau says it's called Renaissance because art came back.
Yeah.
Art came back. He says it was the revival of art, paintings, because in the space of 1,000 years, art wasn't out there. It didn't exist, which is bullshit, because there's art of the Moors out there, still certain pieces of Moorish art, where when you see that you had Jake Kings with the turban sitting upon the throne, and then you have Edomite females butt naked being presented unto him, and he's like, I don't know if I like you. Stuff like that. Jake females washing Edomite females.
Yeah.
And then you have the Jake slave master looking like, yeah, wash her good. Wash between them, between the ash crack, because that's where it's dirty. Wash her good. Moorish Jakes playing chess together, reading books, libraries, because that's where it all comes from, man. Even in the scriptures, it says that all these things come from Jake, man. What does it say that again? Is it Wisdom of Solomon or Maccabees? It speaks about the musical tunes. I think it's Wisdom of Solomon then. Let's see. I think it's Wisdom of Solomon. Let me grab my old apocrypha, because in your old apocrypha you can find it instantly. It's easy. If you type in musical tunes or something. Let me see. Yeah, you can read on and
Also the precept.
read your precept.
This is Isaiah 25, verse 7. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. So the Most High says he's going to destroy this mountain, which this mountain represents the ruling class, because what do these leaders, world leaders do? They have a summit, a G7 summit or what it's called. And the summit, what is a summit? A summit is a peak of a mountain. So these governments, they are mountains, and the top mountain right now is Esau's mountain. So the Most High is going to destroy this mountain, which is the rulership of Esau, the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. And the veil is a covering cast that shows you that that person is in subjection. It's like when a bride goes to meet her bridegroom, she has a veil over her face, that shows subjection. And how does Esau have these nations in subjection? Through the sword and also through deceit. When Esau makes deals with these other nations, Esau, he deceives them. You see, he has them in subjection through deceit, like the scripture says. You see.
Yeah, I can't find it, man.
Otherwise, when we find it, then we're gonna post it underneath this video.
Yeah.
The musicians. You want me to go back to Second Ezra?
Yeah, Second Ezra.
This is Second Ezra 11, verse 41.
I have it.
Ecclesiastes.
Crazy. It wasn't Ecclesiastes, yeah, man. Let me see. Ecclesiastes 44. Do I have it marked? No, man. This is Sirach chapter 44, verse 1. Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begot us. Yahweh had wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning, such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding, and declaring prophecy. So all these things come from the nation of see, that's Satan. All these things come from the nation of Israel by the inspiration of the Most High. Councils, having wise councils. Then the Roman Empire came and they set up these councils with counselors and how do you call these people again?
Was it Council of Nasi or something?
No. That's set up by Jake, also the Council of Nasi. But Esau copied that style of having a hierarchy, with counselors and stuff like that, advisors. That all comes from Jake, man. Prophecy, Ishmael stole it. All of a sudden, he's about prophecy. Okay. Verse 4, leaders of the people by their counsels and by their knowledge of learning meet for the people, wise and eloquent in their instructions, such as found out musical tunes and recited verses in writing. So we found out the musical tunes. Music comes from Jake. Jake has brought that into the world. Okay? And if you think about it, all these things, these modern day music tunes, Afro beats, even hardstyle, hardcore, it all comes down to reggaeton, reggae. Reggaeton actually comes from reggae.
Mm-hmm.
Bubbling, and then from bubbling you go into harder type of beats, and then you got this Edomite nonsense.
Blues also.
Blues, rhythm and blues, R&B. And they got pop, the modern day pop, which you see a bunch of crackers doing that shit. It comes from Jake, man. Rhythm and blues. Why did we sing the blues? Because we was having sorrows, man. We was in the dirt. We was the meek. We was singing the blues during slavery, man. I ain't got no money. I got no friends. I'm in the dirt. Talking about the sorrows, Deuteronomy chapter 28, man. I got a few mangoes, ain't nobody buying them. That's how Jake would go the whole day, man. I got a few coconuts, nobody buys them, so I eat them myself. But then it all translated into these modern day things, and guess what? Jake ain't gotta follow no dance classes to be able to dance, man. It's them Edomites that follow these dance classes. Go and learn salsa, bachata, kizomba, all these type of things. But it all comes from Jake, man. You see? So that's what they stole, they conquered, and like it said, history is not written by the conquered, but by the conqueror. So Esau conquered us. So he wrote history, and it's his story, history. Okay, go on.
This is second Ezra 11, verse 41. For the earth, for the earth hast thou not judged with truth, for thou hast afflicted the meek, thou hast hurt the peaceable, thou hast loved liars, and destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit, and hast cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm. Therefore, therefore therefore is thy wrongful dealing come up unto the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty. The highest also hath looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled. And therefore appear no more thou eagle, nor thy horrible wings, nor thy wicked feathers, nor thy malicious head, nor thy hurtful claws, nor all thy vain body.
Yeah, which this eagle represents the Roman Empire, which now we're living in the modern day Roman Empire. So the wings, the claws, the heads, all is talking about all their setup hierarchy, their kings, their Caesars from back in the days. All of that has to be gone because the Most High has his eyes on Esau, and he will be the last ruler in this world, man. After that, the new world is going to come, which will be ruled by Jacob. Okay, let me grab that real quick because I said we was gonna go into it. This is Second Ezra chapter 9. It's like a 6. Second Ezra chapter 6, verse. Let me start at 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So Esau is going to be the end of this age, man. Okay, this rulership, the time period wherein, you know, man was subject unto sin. They was going off the malicious heart. There was no peace. There was no righteousness. That world is going to be done away with. Those times is going to be done away with. And a new time and a new establishment will be placed upon the earth under the rulership of Jacob, wherein shall be peace, righteousness, no more death, no more traumas, no more nothing, man. Everything will be established in the right order. But this is what is in between it. Verse 10, the hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Other questions, Ezra, ask thou not. So the hand of man is betwixt the heel. So there's a period of time wherein other nations had to rule and had to be set up until the time of Esau, and he will reign for a little season, and then our kingdom would be set up. Then our kingdom would be established. Okay? That's that time between the heel, between man and the heel. Okay? Which is the time wherein Esau had to do his thing. Okay? You have precept?
Yeah, this is Isaiah 65, verse 17. For behold, I create new heaven, a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. But be you glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem, and joy in my people, and the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying.
Yeah, man, because that's going to be done away with when Jacob will be established in the earth. All this madness, chaos, the ruling by the sword, the wickedness, the oppression, it's all going to end, man. Righteousness will be established. That's why Deuteronomy, what is it, Proverbs?
No, it's 29 and...
29 and 2?
Yeah.
Read it.
This is Proverbs 29, Verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn.
You see that? So mourning is now in the earth. All these nations is going crazy. Why is that? Constant war. G7, G20 summits, people, rulers of the earth having discussions with each other how to prevent war, because Esau is constantly at it. Okay, all of that is gonna stop when Jacob's in rulership for 1,000 years. Will be oppression towards the people that oppressed us, but after that, peace and righteousness will be established. Righteousness is already established, but not peace for them, peace for us. After 1,000 years, there will be also peace for them, pursuant to Revelation 20 and 4, I believe.
This is Revelation 20, verse 5.
Verse 5, yeah.
But the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection.
You see that? The rest of the dead, which is the other nations, they're not going to live a peaceable life until the 1,000 years of rulership will be finished. Okay? That's what I was referring to. So go back to 2nd Ezra 11.
This is 2nd Ezra 11, verse 46. That all the earth may be refreshed and may return, being delivered from thy violence, and that she may hope for the judgment and mercy of him that made her.
Yeah, man. So the earth itself is waiting for the judgment and mercy of the Heavenly Father, wherein Esau is going to be wiped out and peace and righteousness is going to be established again, and the earth is able to get his strength again, his strength back. Give me Psalms 82, verse 5. Because Esau is being described in the scriptures as the destroyer of the earth, man. That's why the earth itself wants to get rid of this devil, man. This is Revelation. What is it again? Revelation. I have to go into Revelation again. Yeah, here. Revelation chapter 11, verse 18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. So that's talking about Esau, man. Esau's the destroyer of the earth. That's why the world is in the state that it is today, man. Back in the days, kingdoms wasn't harvesting, was not reaping the earth as the fashion that they do now, man. Mass earthquakes because they take the oil out of the earth, which is the lubrication between the tectonic plates. Okay, mad forest being chopped down. That's why Isaiah 14 says, even the trees is gonna rejoice, man. Which the trees is double fold. It's talking about the heathen nations, but it's also talking about the literal trees, man. Okay, it says Isaiah 14, verse 7. No, let me start at verse 5. Yahweh had broken the staff of the wicked. Who's the wicked? Malachi 1 and 4. Okay? Malachi 1 and 4. The border, Esau's the border of wickedness forever. Okay? So he's the staff of the wicked. So that's the wicked. You don't have to, Isaiah 14 and 5. Yahweh had broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. The staff and the scepter represent the rulership, the power. The Most High is going to break it. Verse 6. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. So the scriptures speak about that Esau was busy with a continual stroke. So his going to war never stopped. He constantly went to war. He constantly invaded countries. Grab that in Habakkuk and also in Micah. He constantly invaded countries. He constantly went out there fighting, waging war, invading people countries. A continual stroke.
That's what we just also read in the second Ezra 11. It says, because of the violence, the last verse.
The violence and oppression and deceit, exactly. So the earth seeks for that rest. Okay, so it says, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hinder it. The earth, it's like in verse 7, the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. You see that? So like I said, it's double fold. It's talking about the heathen nations. They're going to rejoice. They also going to rejoice when Esau's laid down. But also the physical trees, man. Literal trees. Because Esau is a feller. Esau constantly chops down trees, constantly. And the continual stroke towards the earth also, damaging the earth. That's why the Second Ezra chapter 11, the last verse says what? The earth waited for the judgment of the Most High and the mercy being delivered from this violent man, the destroyer of the earth. Okay, give me that.
This is Habakkuk 2, verse 9. Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the powers of evil.
No, you start at verse 6.
This is Habakkuk 2, verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his?
Yeah, woe unto him that increaseth that which is not his. That's what Esau does continually, man. He increaseth that which is not his. He invades countries, rapes, robs, and murders. Even within your own household, what does he do? He tries to break the order. He sets up a woman against a man. What do they call that? Divide and conquer. Esau sets up the woman against the man. So what Yahushua spoke about, a house set against itself shall not stand. So if there's friction in the household, husband and wife, children, if there's chaos out there, how is it gonna stand? So Esau structurally broke that whole system down. Go on.
Habakkuk 2, verse 6. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And if you go into that word, thick clay is ibajat, which means debt. Esau, he got the whole world on the debt.
He himself is in debt because he creates debt, because he says you are rich when you have debt. That's why if you watch this documentary called Zeitgeist, it goes into the whole monetary system of Esau, how he created debt and how he runs on debt. He keeps printing money. How does Esau pay his debt? With his own currency. So what Esau does, he prints dollars to pay his debt. He just prints extra dollars, man. And how the bank system is set up is by you owing them. So they give you a certain amount of money, but they never give you. You see, they never physically give you this money. They give you numbers, because the numbers that they give you is never printed. You go get your house, okay? Then you start paying. Then you are working for them, paying something that they never paid for you. Because they signed this contract, they say, okay, this man is able to get this house, hypotheek, I don't know how you call mortgage. This man is able to get this house because we signed a mortgage contract under the name of the bank. But you never get, let's say you buy a house of 300,000. You never get 300,000 from the bank. Here, go and pay this house. They say, yeah, go into the house. Now you're going to pay us monthly to pay off your debt. But they never laid down money for you. So there is no money. They didn't lay down no money for you. Now you are in debt and you are working for them, giving them money that they never had. So that's why I advise every individual brother to watch this series or this documentary Zeitgeist to know about Esau's deceit and how he rules the world and how he what did it say, deceive and oppress people, man. You see. So let's wrap this up, finish that, and then Micah, and then gotta close it because the battery is dead. Oh, 5%. Finish that, and then we close it out.
Ik heb die charger ook, hè. This is Habakkuk 2, verse 7. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them?
Which is spoil. Booty is spoil. Go on.
Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee.
Yeah, man. Because when it's World War III time, the nations is gonna spoil you. Art thou become weak as we? Boop, 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 boop. Nuclear missiles for your ass, man. Because they have spoiled many nations. Go on.
Because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Woe to him that coveteth evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establish a city by iniquity.
Which that is the whole kingdom, the whole entire rulership of Esau is established by blood, is set up by wickedness, it's set up by oppression. They invade people's houses, they invade people's lands. They do everything that the Most High said, don't do it. Don't stretch out the landmarks. Let every nation sit where he sits. Esau disobeyed that whole stuff and just went to do and conquer, which is prophecy, which had to happen, which that is how Esau came into power, man. When he came into power, these things happened, man. So with that, we want to give all praises, glory, and the highest honor to Yahweh, Basham, Yahushai, Basham, Kakadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect. Yahweh Tazad was edifying. With that, we say shalom.
Shalom.
Yeah, man.